This is my golden book. I call it a golden book because it's for my own healing process, and I love gold things. I tell myself I'm funny all the time, so I had to have hilarious on the cover. This is the first one I ever did. Now I think I have 4 of them, which you'll see all of them. This guy started in 2013, and from 2013 to 2018, I did like this much. Yeah, this much. And then from 2018 to 2019, literally 13 months, I did this. So this book really represents a huge shift for me in how I use collage, talk to myself, use visual medium. You're gonna see I move from an obsession with words into an obsession with color and imagery. So we are going to walk it through. Here we go. We have my adorable rose. I love roses. I love gold. Gold, roses, roses. You're gonna see the theme. So one of my rules is that I can change anything anytime. So many of these things are funny for me to look at later because I know the generations of time that went into this. I started this book after a very dark period. So this is the page where I wanted to honor the mess that I was coming from. This is an ineffective tuck, and I love it because I struggle with perfectionism, and stop making excuses, start making choices that never even got nailed down, I think really speaks to my experience as an artist, honestly. I got these stickers, I think, in 2017. So I went back, and then on these stamps I added later. So for me, it's layers of time. It took years to finish this. This was a more recent washi edition. And then every time I have many times done a page just to honor a negative feeling. I always follow with something hugely positive. So just really positive energy to come up. Oh, cool. I forgot I started doing this. I started keeping my strips and adding them anywhere that I thought had too much white. You'll also see in this, I moved from being obsessed with covering as much white as possible, kind of ineffectively, to feeling really comfortable with the white space on the page. This was meant to be a celebration of everything that I recognize myself as. Hi, sister. Hi, Mom and Dad. You can see here in the early days, really identified hugely as a writer. It's just interesting even seeing what's big and what's small on the page that I wrote in, and my handwriting is so different now. Just really interesting for me. I also identified as a Hufflepuff back in the day and have since been accurately sorted into Gryffindor, and I am now owning that. So this is an interesting tribute to the house I used to identify with. Fight me, I'm a real Gryffindor. This page was hilarious. I thought one page would be enough to express my obsession with the sea. Hilarious. I thought one page would be enough for like the pretty jewelry stuff I was saving. Hilarious. This was my first poem that I did this way, where you just cross out the words you don't want and keep words you like. I love this. This is a very special poem for me. But I do like the construction of this page. I like how I did this one. Oh, the seagulls, just for the birds. Makes me happy. You can tell it was not enough because I immediately did another page for water. This is my badass lady page. Of course, we have Hermione. What up, girl? This is obviously Annie Oakley. So this was my first time I ever, for myself, celebrated how hot women are. And so this was a big deal, this page, just really feeling comfortable looking at the female form and appreciating it for my own self. It's interesting in this early part, I was really trying to have one concept per spread. This one was supposed to be like my more romantic side. It took me years to finish this because I truly don't really know what that means. Because everything, all the different pieces to me are really part of the romance, but I only recently finished this page, which is very interesting to me anyway. So these stickers, I went right through and put them everywhere because I thought they were just the cutest things. So you'll see those. That was like, that's one layer for me. These I did near the finishing of the book. Actually, I think I did it after I finished the book. I came back to fill in some pages when I was finishing using all this stickery stuff from this company. These are from Flow Magazine's anniversary edition that they put out, I think in 2012 or 2013, and I have used them literally for 10 years. I think I still have some kicking around that I love it. It's so good. There was so much stuff in that awesome big book. If you can get a back copy, I'd get it. You have no idea. Anything by Flow Magazine is great. This is another lady page. This is when I started messing with my construction going right off the page because some things are too cool to cut. So I started playing with this, and you're going to see a bunch of these folds. Tried to do all roses and hot girls in here. It's interesting. You'll see, I mean, I feel, you can see where my style started to develop. I don't think like this intersection is very successful, but I think you'll see it get better, which is my purpose. So this is obviously 2016 here. We haven't even hit 2018. This was some life goals, and I made this as an early pocket. I don't have many of those in my golden books. I try to not make them. I did this as a meditation, which is very cool to me. So this was supposed to be my bright rainbow parts and then my deep witchy side, which I thought was cool. Some of these I added much later after I did the initial, because I got the stamp later. I do love that stamp. It's just more exploring. These were mantras that came to me while meditating, or from friends or gurus that I was working with at any given time. This was a chakra meditation I was doing, and these were from, I say they're very badly pressed flowers, and I horrifically taped them down with packing tape, but they were from a day that I had an incredible spiritual experience, and I just wanted to keep it even though I didn't know what I was doing, so here it is. I think this was accidentally glued down actually, but I'm totally comfortable with it being there. Yet there's nothing on the other side of that, but hey, it's here, it wants to be there. I'm happy for friends. This is a collection of stuff I did at spiritual retreats and things, different meditations, different mediums, I just wanted to keep them all together. At the time when I found this was, I believe, in Vogue magazine, and it was like one of the first times that I saw crystals and fortune-telling stuff in a high-end magazine. This is obviously a huge trend now, but I was so shocked to see it that I kept it. And then later, when it was so normal and trendy to do that, I added Basic Witch because it's pretty funny. This is my lobster page. I'm constantly working on this page because it's actually harder than you think to find lobsters. I did recently find a couple, and we'll come back in and add them. This is one of my rules, is that I can always fix things. My friend made this for me, I can't remember the word of it right now. I'm so sorry. It's not a woodcut. It's a... Is it a woodcut? Anyway, she made the stamp and stamped it because she's awesome. I think maybe it is a woodcut. I'm sorry, Jess, I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, she made these for me because she's amazing and I love her. And this is one of my favoriteest doodles. You can tell it was on a calendar page, and when I was stuck on hold on the phone at work, I used to go over all these cute little things. I love it. This was the beginning. I went through a small phase of trying to play with making different figures together of different figures. This is an early attempt. So this is when it all kind of kicked off. This was the year I turned 30, and I thought, I'm going to do a big collage for turning 30. I'm so excited. And so this was my series of collages for the year I turned 30. I did this September, 2018, or October. My birthday's in November. So this was like in preparation. I was really feeling it. I was going on a trip with my sister to celebrate. Hi, sister. And so this was the beginning of that retrospective moment for myself. I knew 30 was big and I wanted to really sit into it. So we're moving into a place where I was feeling feelings about my future, and it kind of transitions into vision boards, which is fun. And I'll show you what came true. This is when I got crazy and started cutting things right down the middle and keeping them together. As a perfectionist, I've really struggled to destroy things. I told you I was keeping the slices of stuff. I love this little space. So this is just the same image, and I cut it down the middle to make sure it would fit. Wild stuff, guys, wild stuff. This I added very recently, and I think it's just the perfect silly pop right there. Great washi. I do have a large affinity for flamingos. This is one of the only places that I express that, but they are so majestic and wonderful. This is one of my wildest moments. I cut the waterfall because I wanted the flamingo to be part of the waterfall. I cut a vintage postcard. Wild, wild stuff. It took me a very long time to finish this page, and I don't know if I even like it, but I do have a horsey on its side, and that's fine. There's a lot of packing tape in these early days. If you are just starting to work with things, I love packing tape as a visual, but it fades the paper after about 3 or 4 years. So just keep it in mind. I'm not saying don't use it. I still use it for some things because it's just a really great, I love packing tape. It works, it sticks. But just keep in mind, it does mess up your pages after a while. You can see like all the colors are changing under here. After a couple years, the color goes. This is where we got into, this was my prep page to move into vision boards. My husband and I were getting ready to buy a house, and so this was my designing my dream area. It's a little poem about how much I love my husband. So this was our house energy. My husband had sketched this when we were out at a diner one day, feeling that house energy, trying to get it together. And we actually did end up buying a house in 2 halves with a path between them. So this is the beginning of when vision boards really, if you didn't believe in vision boards before, start believing in them now. Our house does not look like this, but it did help me to get the right house. And this ended up being very close to what our house looks like. It doesn't have the witch peak, which I'll just never recover from. But it is weirdly how our house is set up. So I put this here much later. It's from January 2019 because that is when we moved into the house. So I came back to my 2018 vision boarding, or early 2019, whenever this, it had to be, early 20, whatever it was. I came back later to add this in as like a testament, and then I put our old address and our new address right here, which is why it's covered. This is a big deal to me, this page, because as you can see, I had different things under here entirely, and I decided I hated it. I didn't want to attract any of those looks anymore, and I had glued it down so well, thank you Elmer's, that I couldn't get it back. I couldn't get it back up without doing serious damage. So I just went over it, whatever, and it's a terrible page, but I'm leaving it in to show you because I am very proud that I just covered what I didn't want. I am very proud of my Making Things page. This was meant to represent my art studio, which we are all now in. Welcome to the art studio. And so I got my Making Things area, like my Making Things. Get it? I'm so funny. I called the kitchen the game room because I'm hilarious. As advertised. Another strip that I kept that I just loved. I now have like a basket of strips behind me because I just love adding strips these days. This was meant to be about my professional life and my writing writing. This was a crazy, I had cut this because I was going to get rid of the girl entirely. And then as soon as I cut it, I regretted my choices, but I made it work with this in between, and it does make me really happy. And isn't this just the best? Like, where'd you get this paper, guys? I want to know. Very Lady Godiva-y in here. Love this. So this is a poem that my mother had written for us one Christmas, and then she gifted us one of the shells. This was the year that Moana came out, and so it had many meanings for us. The shells were all my grandmother's. It was very beautiful. This guy, I loved every single page so much that I kept the whole thing, every page full. Just beautiful. I mean, Jewel is on a cauliflower. How do you not love that? So this is all packing tape down, and I made the sacrifice knowing that the pages would get messed up because I just loved every page so much, and I didn't at the time know a better way to do this. I now know how I can do this better, but I kept this technique for a very long time because I had not learned how to do it better. Now I know better. There's a blue page. How do you not love these? These are from Du Jour in fall 2018. If you can get a back issue of this magazine, I do not blame you because this is awesome. Do you see this? Gorgeous. Never seen a spread like this before in my life. On broccoli, like really, really inspired, really beautiful. Look at this. This is like stone teacup. I mean, gorgeous, really gorgeous. So I just kept the whole thing because I loved it. Sometimes I just keep whole ads because I am really an ad nerd and I think they're very cool sometimes, and I just loved everything about this visual. I couldn't think of a way to cut it up, so I just kept it. And I put it next to I was playing with my watercolor pencils. Just playing with it and seeing what I could do. This was another time that I was honoring a tough week. This was February 2019. And it was just it felt like a spiritual trial, and it felt like it needed to be honored, and so here it is being honored. Another strip right there. I tried to find things that really spoke to my frustrations and experience and stress. And all my adorable little buggies, who I love so much. And then I responded with my own meditation. So this is something you'll see throughout all my books, is that sometimes I'll do a multi-page meditation in my own art for myself. And this is one of my favorites. This is an early one and I love it. I also have realized I've been keeping walkway photos, and I realize I take a lot of walkway photos. I think I'm going to expound on that in the future. Meditation continues. Tiny people on delightful places. A lot of these images came from the Nature Conservancy magazine. They have some wonderful photographers, really fantastic. I mean, all of these are just stunning. You'll see them a lot. This was honoring, I was very into past life exploration at the time, and this honored a few different past lives that I had touched base with. And I really love this page. Then I wanted to express this is another trying to express one thing per page. So this is supposed to be like juicy and sweet. And then I think most successful is my funny page because I'm hilarious. Punctuation humor, can't help myself. I have these all over the place, but this is one of my favorites. By letting go of the banana, the monkey becomes a monk. And here you have a banana, just right here. And here I wanted to move into from, I guess my theory here was moving from fear week into recovery mode, right? All of this is recovery. Looking to myself for answers instead of looking outward. And then affirming myself and the pieces of my personality I don't usually give myself time to appreciate. And then I moved into healing, just healing stuff. So this came wrapped when I bought my Lemurian crystal. This is what it was wrapped in. And it was part of a newspaper from, I want to say Taiwan. I think it was Taiwan. And this was very special. A lot of the newspaper that I got had really cool energy to it. And my hair got caught up and I didn't fix it because I feel like that was very powerful. This is when I got my Lemurian crystal and I connected with Lemurian energy. I did this to really honor that moment. Still love this page. Some of these were concept pieces from like a rug magazine or something, and it was like the vibes they were going for in their color palettes. Very interesting. This was hitting on that Lemurian energy of like water, under the water, treasures underwater, something in there. This was another thing that came from that Lemurian crystal shipment. And a lot of Lemurian energy in here with the Hawaii and delicate things. Then we moved into, it's a little bit of a rough patch. We were meditating on death. It was a tough loss in our family. I'm going to skip a couple pages. And then after the tough stuff, I always, as you know now, I come back to a positive. Another one where I boldly cut in the middle. So this is another time I was trying to make a figure. I love this figure the most, where there's like a, here's her head and here's her legs with air and flowers between as part of who she is. Which, that was moving towards what I was trying to accomplish, I think. And this is one, I love this one poetically. I don't know if it works visually the way I want it to, but poetically, I love how I did this one. And this is actually the same image cut in half again. I get very excited about cutting things in half these days. This page still feels empty to me sometimes, but I love it so much I never know. Maybe I could stamp something. I'll have to think about this in the future. But Butter Tea and Wind Pictures, one of my favorite, just a really beautiful poem there. Butter Tea and Wind Pictures, the Crystal Mountain, and blue sheep dancing on the snow. It's quite enough. Have you seen the snow leopard? No, isn't that wonderful? Something really magical about that. Really magical. So this is when I got a Vogue from China. And I pretty much lost my mind. The images were so different and so cool. I think all of these things came from that magazine. It was just wild, this guy too. You'll see it through the next book also. This is a Hawaiian fish called the Homa Homa Nuku Nuku Apua'a. And I'm still so proud that I know how to say it. I learned it when I was in Hawaii when I was a young girl. And I love this image so much. It actually came to me in like a random assortment of things, and it was very exciting. This is one of my this is when I knew I had shifted. I saw that my eye had changed. It was the first time I paid more attention to color than meaning. Tried to get a lot of pinks together and then the reds. There are other pages that I like more, but this one's so special to me because I could feel that my visual needs were changing. And then I had these two waterfalls as my like blessings and support pillars, which I thought was really cool. And I still do. I like this one still. This is where we went wild. I still stand by my choice to fold this. I think it just doesn't, if you fold it back, it just doesn't look the same. I stand by it. It just doesn't look the same. You need the space below her feet to really feel the dangle. So here's another time I was looking more at color. I was looking for my reds, my blacks. This is something my sister says to me all the time. You are so lovable. Hi, sister. These are like unsuccessful pages. You just don't need to see them. So this is at the end of the book. We're almost there now. And it is a tribute to all the people I have been, because I was really recognizing how far I'd come in the book. And I was really excited to end it, to be honest with you. This was a lot of the music I was listening to at this time, and I was very proud of myself. I didn't bend over backwards to try to pick exact songs. I just wrote down some songs, some people, some mixes. This is just what I was listening to at the time, generally speaking. It's very hard for me, with my perfectionist tendencies, to not want to have a perfect, you know, track 1 in front of track 2, and, you know, I get really crazy. So this was a wild moment for me to just put down what I was listening to at the time. This is just a moment in history. From a daily calendar I had at work. And the final pages. So I ended with Cannon Beach in Oregon because I started this book right after I moved home from Oregon. So this was kind of, I was there in 2012 in Cannon Beach, and this is sort of an ending of this chapter. This was moving forward into 2020 because this was the end of 2019. We ended in October. And this is where I had, these are the founding documents of this book, complete with a book list. Absolutely insane. Love it. Have to keep that here forever. And that is my first Golden Book. Thanks for sticking around to the very end. Like and subscribe for more content.